Mike and I haven't been with you, and we apologize for that. Pittsburgh Sports Talk fans, Steelers Nation, and we've been getting your emails. Mike, people have been asking where we're at. We've been training. He's been hitting the weights. I've been trying to lose some weight. We've been watching some Steelers games go by. 3-0, Mikey. 3-0, and the big conversation around town is the return of your future NFL Hall of Famer, number C8 day, Ben Roethlisberger. Yeah, what do you think so far?
He's done a good job. He's 67% completion percentage right now. He's doing a good job of distributing it to different receivers. They're doing a good job of mixing it up and finding ways to get Juju open, especially in man coverage on the crossing routes. Deontay Johnson's had some decent games. Claypool's a nice addition. But, I just think that they've added some more play-action passes, which is going to help Ben and get, some more run game in. The Denver game, they almost gave away a little bit. He threw for over 40 times. I don't like that. But for the most part, I think it's the offense is doing pretty solid.
Let's break down this offense so far this year. No doubt, Ben Roethlisberger coming into this season, we had no clue. I thought, Mike, I told you they should have given every single draft pick to the Bengals to get Joe Burrows over here, just in case Big Ben's arm blew up. But it hasn't since training camp. No OTAs to see how he felt this year. His arm has looked good. The spirals are tight. He's thrown for the triple C8. They 700 yards so far this year. He looks good. He's talking about his feet movement. And again, Mikey played in the NFL at quarterback. How important is your feet movement to a quarterback?
Well, that's definitely huge. You talked about his arm. You see him. He's able to air it out on a few of these throws. He overthrew Claypool this past week. But a lot of it is the leg strength. You have to get your legs into the throw. A lot of times they see these guys making these off-balance throws and they're like, oh, look at his arm strength. But it's because they've got that back foot down and they are able to get their core muscles into it. And Ben's doing a great job with that. And, they're taking care of the football for the most part.
The most important thing is this offensive line. Of course, the coach, the rig genius Munchak, heads out to Denver. Sean Sarrett takes over the offensive line last year. They did a great job last year. They congealed like your grandmother's Jell-O. It congealed on the holidays. They congealed last year. Then all of a sudden you lose B.J. Finney. Mr. Foster says, I'm heading down the road. What a delight. Okafor yesterday matched up against one of the greatest defensive linemen in NFL history, and the Mr. Watt there shut him down. The bulldozer, Mr. Dotson, filled in wonderfully for DeCastro. DeCastro came in yesterday. Pouncey, what is he, 30 years in the league, and he's pulling as a center? How many centers have you seen in your career pulling around the edge like that?
It's a weapon that people don't realize how beneficial it is for the run game to have a center that can move like that. But he's a smart guy. He can make all the calls. Having DeCastro back, I think, was huge. It definitely helped the run game. I love the addition of McFarland, a little change of pace with him in there. But I think the key was, you talk about Watt, they did a good job of mixing the play calling up. A lot of, runs on 2nd and 10, and you see McFarland getting a first down. Usually, the Steelers, they come out, throw it first down, 2nd down, 3rd down, and now all of a sudden they're punting. They had a couple 3-and-outs, but for the most part, you're not going to run the ball on 2nd and 10, and they did that and ended up picking up the first down. So I think that does a great job of keeping the pass rush at bay, especially with a guy like J.J. Watt.
Matt Canada has been brought in to help Ben at the quarterback position, but there's no doubt about it, he is lending his expertise, his knowledge, his skill set to Randy Fichtner. And to me, Mike, you can see Matt Canada's imprint all over this offense this year. It's creative. They're throwing the ball around. I love this offense.
Yeah, and what that does is it allows another guy to come in and help train the quarterbacks. And I'm sure he's not only working with Ben, but he's working with the younger, you got Hodges on the practice squad, you got Josh Dobbs back as an emergency guy, and you have Mason Rudolph. So he's able to work with them, and it actually frees up Coach Randy Fichtner to kind of focus a little bit more on the total offense as opposed to just a position. Now you have someone helping out that position and giving an extra set of eyes to help out Ben as well and see what he sees.
The most important thing is adjustments throughout a game, and that's what makes a great football coach is somebody that can see what's going on. You know, you may be having a bad day running the football, you make an adjustment to your wide receivers, or vice versa. If you can't throw the ball, you go to the running game. I like this combination of Canada and Fiechner, and certainly with Big Ben obviously returning healthy, they've got a tiger by the tail right here. Let's talk about this running back situation. You know, the NFL lost a great running back this year, an old friend of mine, Jim Kick. If you remember the Miami Dolphins 1-2 punch with Larry Zonka and Jim Kick, they were an incredible tandem. Kick playing halfback, Larry Zonka playing that hybrid fullback position. When you look at James Conner, he really reminds me, for the old schoolers out there, of Larry Zonka. He runs quick, he runs fast, and he knocks the snot out of you. Mike, I really think if eventually, whether it's McFarland, Benny Snell, Jalen Samuels, if they can get that second running back going, they're going to be dangerous in that backfield.
Yeah, and you know, they also have that fullback in Watt now as well, which is definitely going to help. They get a more downhill power type run game. But I do like James Conner more of I love him coming out of the backfield and catching passes, especially on first and second down, faking off play action. A lot of times when you go play action, you fake to the back and you come out looking for the receivers, everyone, you know, the linebackers are so concerned, they're not running the ball now, they're passing it, so they turn and run to get back. Now that back leaks out, and it's an easy dump off, it's an easy completion, a quick way to get up 5, 6, 7 yards, and you see Conner coming out of the backfield early in the game. And I like the passing game off of play action early. I like James Conner doing that. I think he does a really nice job of catching the football. I think when you put in Jalen Samuels, sometimes it's too much like, okay, here comes pass. I'd like to see him get more in the run game as well, and we got to get, you know, Benny Snell working in, you know, taking care of the football a little better.
Oh, yeah.
But then you got McFarland. I like that change of pace. I like his speed.
He was quick like a little water bug yesterday. Bang, bang.
And the opening drive of the second half, he came out and he did a great job.
Conner has a rare quality in a back that's as big as he is, because he is a big, big man. He's got quick feet, he's got quick hips, kind of like Jerome Bettis did. He's got the soft hands, but for me, you can't pound him. You've got to come up with this deadly two-headed hydra and find that second running back, because you can't pound James Conner for 30 runs a game, certainly with his history of injuries, which I think happens because he runs hard. A lot of you out there were saying, you know, that James Conner, he gets hurt all the time. That's because he runs hard, baby, and when you run hard, Mike, you tend to get hurt. But if they can find that second-tier running back, I think they've got one hell of an offense this year.
Yeah, and I think it's because, you know, if you get Benny Snell in there taking care of the football, I think that will help a lot. You look at the way the Chargers use Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler. Now Melvin Gordon's gone, so now they're using that Joshua Kelly. He's doing a great job for the Chargers. I think the Steelers, if they can get that going, I think it could definitely help the offense and help the passing game as well.
Quarterback, looking beautiful, baby. Offensive line, looking beautiful, baby. Got a running back situation with James Conner and a second running back emerging. The one thing we haven't talked about is you've got these two beautiful tight ends. You got Van Animal, who's a harken back to Mike Ditka days, who will knock the snot over you, run over you, call your grandmother on the phone and go, I just ran over your grandson, hang up and get back in the game. Ebron has these soft hands, man.
Yeah, well,
oh my.
He's not the best blocker. You got Vance McDonald in there early in the game, and he's the kind of the run blocking guy. Ebron comes in and creates mismatches, though. You saw that fade route that Ben threw. It was a perfect ball. Ebron with the safety, I'm going to take that matchup all day. You put it up nice and high, let him go up and get it, let him use his body. He's strong enough to fight off those safeties. A corner definitely can't cover him, and he's definitely a secret weapon. You saw how the Colts used him the past few years. He's going to have a good year with the Steelers, and now you got Claypool, who was another big body guy, and I don't think a corner can cover him. He's got the speed to go vertical, and I don't think they have the strength, and we haven't seen him at his full potential yet.
No, and again, this is the thing. You got to think about these first 3 games as preseason games. No OTAs. no preseason. And timing in practice, as you know, Mikey, is not the same as it is on the field when your adrenaline's pumping up and you're looking across and there's Mr. Watts or whoever the hell it is trying to rip your head off. Game speed is a whole different reality. So for after 3 games, they're finding a very nice stride. I can't wait to see what the next 3 games bring.
And, you know, and you talk about the preseason, they were kind of like preseason games, but I think if you look at it, they got very fortunate as well with the scheduling. All these teams they faced are 0-2. Now, obviously, the Texans, are they an 0-2 team or 0-3 team?
0-3.
No. But, I mean, you look at the Giants, you know, they're struggling. You know, they had Saquon Barkley when they played, and they were able to shut him down.
Well, let's talk about that. That's an amazing thing, what they've done right now. Barkley is, obviously, he's out for the year now, but going into the season, one of the top 2 running backs in the league, and we'll get into defense in the second part of the show. They shut him down because that was to be the show up there in New York that night. This kid playing quarterback for the Houston Texans is no slouch, and that defense shut him down.
Yeah, you know, and they had the Broncos, but then they had their quarterback, the healthy quarterback. You had Gordon, you had all these receivers, and all of a sudden Sutton goes down with an injury. So they face some teams that, you know, they really shouldn't be 0-3, but they are. And you look at it like kind of like a college game, you know, like Alabama plays Alabama Western State University, you know, their first matchup. You see a lot of these colleges kind of make those schedules easier. I think the Steelers got a little fortunate with the scheduling. And, you know, it's great that they kind of get the kinks out early on. And I still think, you know, even though they're 3-0, I don't think they've reached their full potential, which is great that they've had that, able to keep on winning and not hit their full stride yet.
I'm going to go out on the limb here. You know, traditionally when we've got to face one of those NFC divisions every year, you know, you kind of go in and you go, we're probably going to split with whoever it is. You know, if we got to play the Seattle Sea Chickens and whoever out there on the, you know, the West Coast with the NFC, we're probably going to split. I'm going to go on a prediction and say we're running the table. What are they, the NFC West, East, whatever the hell it is we're playing right now.
Yeah, well,
we may run the gamut on these guys.
Yeah, I mean, don't go too fast. I mean, they have to go to Kansas City.
Yes.
And so that will be a tough one, and that will be a great matchup. You know, because Kansas City has plenty of weapons. And that will be a great test to see exactly where they are defensively and offensively as well, because Kansas City has a decent defense. It's not the best defense, but they've definitely improved, and you know they're the reigning Super Bowl champs as well.
All right, that's how Tank and Mike see it after only 3 Steelers games. But Mike, this is just beautiful. This is like a present that you weren't expecting. Your grandmother said, oh, there's one more gift under the Christmas tree I forgot to give you, and it's a Red Ryder BB gun. That's how good this feels to me right now.
Yeah, you know, one more gift was when they finally get the stands, you know, fans back in the stands and start filling up the stadium, and I think the energy will be even stronger, and you'll see the team pick it up even more then.
Yeah, Steelers Nation, we know you're hurting. You need to get down to a game. You need to tailgate. So Mike and I are going to do our best this year to bring up the enthusiasm, pump up the enthusiasm. I actually sent a letter to Bud Dupree offering to box him for $100 for charity. No, I didn't, believe me. So, all right, we'll see you next week on Pittsburgh Sports Talk.